Arizona State Sun Devil legend Danny White, Dallas Cowboy quarterback Danny White, and punter, of course, Valley Home hero making good. The book, Danny White, it is now out, Spotlights and Shadows, for a few minutes. The hard part about doing book interviews for me through 40 years of doing this is you don't want to give away the book. You know, you'd like to have people go buy a few of these. So I'm not going to go too deep into top to bottom. But Danny, there's things in here that I learned about you that I think any Sun Devil fan or Dallas Cowboy, if we're just going to use the sports side for a minute, you went on a date with the lady that you married, and you don't really remember the date because you're in high school because you got concussed playing football at Westwood High School.
That's right.
Right? I mean, I'm reading this, and I'm saying, there's no way. He doesn't even remember the date. And it was a first date, and it was, and it was
homecoming.
It was homecoming, and you got dinged, you got hit in the head, and you got hit in the head so hard you ended up marrying her. So it must not have been all bad, right?
Yeah. Best concussion I ever got. My own guy. I go up to make a tackle. I was playing defense, and my own guy, his foot swung around, hit me in the side of the head, and knocked me out cold. I missed the rest of the season. I went home, sat on the couch watching TV. The doctor told me not to drive, try to stay awake. So I'm sitting there watching TV, and my mom comes in and says, "Danny, didn't you have a date with that new girl tonight?" I said, "Mom, I have no idea." She was brand new. Her family had just moved in right behind us. And Jolene was not a football fan. She didn't even go to the game. She didn't know that anything had happened to me. So Mom goes in and calls Jolene's mom and says, "Did Danny have a date with Jolene tonight?" She said, "Yeah, she's sitting here in her nice formal dress, all ready to go to the dance, which is over now." And Mom came in and said, I don't know what she said, but I got dressed. My dad drove me around the block. We picked her up. We drove down to Bob's Big Boy on Main Street in Mesa.
There you go.
Went in and got a hamburger while my dad waited in the parking lot, and went out and he drove us home. And according to her, she kissed me goodnight that night. I can't prove her right or wrong. I don't know if she's lying. She says I went in and met her whole family.
Don't remember.
I must have done something right, said something right or something, because the rest is history, as they say. What are the two most important words in the development of a quarterback? Encouragement and praise. I don't think Frank Kush wrote a book and said anything close to that.
Yeah. Because
encouragement and praise were humiliation and embarrassment. And he would get you in front of the whole team, and but he did it to everybody. So everybody could relate, and it brought us all together. We were all united in our battle against Frank Kush. And it sounds a little bit strange, but it worked. Here's a story that's in the book that, the last play of the Fiesta Bowl, the first Fiesta Bowl, the play that won the game for us. This is historical because I changed the play that Frank Kush sent in and ran a different play. The press after the game couldn't believe. They heard from somebody, one of the other players, that I changed the play in the huddle and called something different. And it's true, but it was not my idea. Before I die, I have to give credit where credit's due. There was somebody else that was responsible for that play being called. And now you got to get the book.
Now it's in the book. Danny White, Spotlights and Shadows. A couple other things will get you out of here. What do you make of the present day Arizona State Sun Devils football program?
Time will tell. I think they're doing everything they can do, but they're so deep down in this hole that it's going to take some time and some patience on the part of Sun Devil fans and the media. Because Kenny's got a mountain in front of him, and he's a good guy, and I like Kenny, and I'm pulling for him. And I can't say that about the previous administration, but I can say that about Kenny because I think his heart's in. I think he's going to do it the right way, do the right thing, do it the right way, That's what's important. Maybe even more than winning right now is that it gets done the right way. It gets built with the right kind of people in the locker room, in the coach's office. And I think so far, so good. I think they're on the right track.
One other thing. So you and I have known each other for a long time, back to the Rattlers when I got here in 93, 94. The changes in athletic directors, the constant change in athletic directors, I've gotten to the point where I refer to Arizona State University as Always Something University, ASU, because they just can't seem to get out of their own way. And I'm willing to give their new athletic director a chance. I just don't know, Danny, if the perception around town is reality and that Michael Crow doesn't care about athletics. The doctor has done great things with the university, but the track record doesn't lie about the number of ADs and coaches and scandal and lack of facility with the basketball arena, still 50 years of age and dilapidated in a lot of areas. I'm curious if you see it a certain way about Arizona State athletics.
I've sat in front of Dr. Crow and I've seen the competitiveness come out of him. Either he is a great actor or he is seriously competitive and wants to win as much as anybody. I just don't know that athletics has been as high on his priority list as I would like to see it, as fans would like to see it, because he has so much going on at that school and has done such an incredible job building other aspects of the university, turning it clearly into a world-class university, just not athletically. Me personally, I just have to try to see it a different perspective, a different viewpoint, because if I base it purely on my love of ASU sports and athletics, then I would say something that I would regret later, because my mom told me if you can't say something good, don't say it at all. And I don't have a lot of good to say. I think the effort's been there. I think the concern and the care is there. It just hasn't been followed up with the right kind of decisions. I would love to have been involved. I would love to have been more involved with ASU athletics somehow, some way. And I know there are a lot of former athletes from ASU, golfers, baseball players, basketball players, football players, that would love to have been more involved. And if I can say one thing that I think they could have done a lot better, it would have been to involve the alumni and the former players more in decision-making and developing those programs, because we're out here ready to help any way we can possibly help. Nobody's ever asked. That hurts a little bit.
Sure. And I know that you and I have had conversation back when coaches' jobs were open for you. You've shown up, you've been there at practices from, all of them, Cutter to Todd to a little bit with Herm and now Kenny. And I feel like I'm with you on Kenny. I hope that he has the resources and the help, and that just isn't another stepping stone or another 3 or 4 years from now, or there's something behind door number 5 from the NCAA. Just some smooth sailing would be nice. That's all.
Yeah.
Nice. Look, this book is great. This book is great.
Thanks, Brad.
I'll let you go off that. Enjoy the outdoors, and I appreciate your time, Danny. Thanks.
Thanks, Brad. It's been great.